Okay, so we're going to look at simplifying algebraic fractions, and the learning goal is simply just to look for common factors to cancel out from the top and bottom of the fractions. Now, do you remember what the top and bottom of the fractions were called? The top was called the numerator, and the bottom was called the denominator. So that's what we're going to be looking at. Okay, let's look at some examples. Alright, if I get my red pen here, I can simplify these fractions. Okay, some of these things we've had a look at. Here, we've got to cancel everything that's the same. A's at the top, A's at the bottom, so we can cancel that out. Also, with these numbers here, we'll be able to simplify that down. Now, some of you have already done it, but other of you might have struggled a little bit. I can cancel this down. How many 4's fit into 4? 1. And how many 4's fit into 12? 3. So that means at the top I'm going to have 1b over 3. Now, as you know that in maths, we don't often put the 1, so we can take that out as well. So that's our answer for that. Okay, let's look at the next example, example 2. This one's less obvious, but notice that this is the same as this. So that means we can simply put our pen and cross that out. So now we are left with just this little bit here, 2 over 4. Now, as I've said many times, the easiest way to simplify is to put the numbers in your calculator. But I can clearly see that 2 over 4 is a half. So that's in simplest form. Okay, example number 3. Well, I'm going to change this up. I'm going to do something. I'm going to factorize. I can see that here, that's not what I meant to do. Here and here, they have something in common. 2 is in both terms. So I'm going to pull the term out. I'm going to open the bracket, and remember to factorize, we have to go 2 times what will give us 2x, and it will just be x, and then because that's plus, I'm going to go plus, and then I'm going to go 2 times what will give me 2, and it's just 2 times 1, so I'm going to put that there, and then I'm going to put over 2. Now, because I've got that, now I can get my red pen and simplify these things down, and then all I'm left with is what's in the brackets. So my final answer will be x plus 1. Okay? Alright, let's do this in this final example. I do have to say something. If you're finding these questions tricky, focus on doing questions that look like this, okay? And then if you get confident with the ones that look like that, then move on to questions that look like that. So just something to say. Alright, with question number 4, I am going to factorize again. I can see that here and here, they both go into 3. So I'm going to take out 3 as the common factor. So 3, open my bracket, 3 times what equals 3x? Well, it's just x. I'm going to draw a line down here so you can tell that there's a separation there. And then there's a minus there, so I'm going to put minus, and then 3 times what will give you 6? Well, it's just 2, and then I'm going to go over x minus 2. Now we can see here that we've got an x minus 2 at the top and an x minus 2 at the bottom, so I can just cancel all that out, just like I did for question 2. So now I'm simply just left with 3 over 1, which equals 3. Okay, my suggestion is to practice some questions of these styles. I'm going to do one more example that if you're like really getting this, that you may want to write down and do questions like it. Okay, so this is the final example. What we have is that we have one fraction times another fraction, okay? So what I need to do is that it looks really complicated, but I can make things simpler. Now, even though they're two separate fractions, I can still cancel something off from the top and the bottom irrespective of it. Now I can see this x plus 2. I can cross that out because there's an x plus 2 at the bottom on this side. Okay? Now I can do the same with the numbers. I know that 4 goes into 8 twice, so I've got twice there. Alright? Now I'm just left with a couple of things. At the top, I'm just left with the 2, and a times, and a 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. Now at the bottom, I'm left with one little thing, okay? And it's just a 3. So that's all I do. And that's the end of the problem. See how you go. Hopefully this makes sense. But I'm gonna stop now, so peace out.